Yes. I'll mute me because Tom is playing a loud game in the background. Are we letting people in now into this team meeting?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Triumph Design Awards. I am pleased to join you all today for our first virtual Triumph Design Awards. I hope that you and your families have managed to deal with the unusual situation that we have all found ourselves in. So much has happened in the past 18 months, but with the effective vaccine rollout here in the UK, there is hopefully some light at the end of the tunnel, and there's real hope that life can soon return to normal. By restarting the Triumph Design Awards, we're hoping to jumpstart a sense of normality. As we have done throughout the period of the pandemic, we plan to continue to follow government guidelines to ensure that the well-being of everyone involved is safeguarded as best as possible. This was the main reason we made the decision of virtually hosting the Design Awards this year. Before we start this year's awards ceremony, I'd like to thank all the students who submitted a project. Our engineers have really enjoyed reviewing all of them and had a tough time picking the finalists. Today, we will be showcasing the top 12 projects and awarding prizes. And now, I'd like to hand you over to the Triumph Design Awards Committee, and I hope you enjoy the presentation.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us live for our first virtual Triumph Design Awards. It's a shame we can't have you here in person at our R&D facility in Hinckley, but I'm sure you'll still enjoy the show from the comfort of your own home. My name is Simran, and I'll be joined throughout the show by 3 of my colleagues who have helped organise this year's competition. It is always incredibly rewarding to be part of the Triumph Design Awards. Year on year, we are blown away by the creativity and attention to detail on the projects that enter. Personally, as a child, I loved creating, designing, and making things, but at the time, I had no idea that that could be a job. In secondary school, I was really struggling to pick a university course when 2 engineers from a local company came to visit. It wasn't until that point where I really began to understand and appreciate what engineering really was and how it was the career I'd been looking for all this time. If it wasn't for that school visit, I probably wouldn't be in a job that I love. We don't want other students to leave their futures and careers up to chance. And for us, the Triumph Design Awards is all about encouraging the next generation of artists, inventors, entrepreneurs to pursue engineering and help push the whole industry forwards. This year, we made some small tweaks to the competition format to make it more suitable for a virtual broadcast. We asked students to submit a short 2-minute video presenting their work. It's a very valuable skill to be able to summarise months of work into a short presentation, and one us engineers regularly have to use at Triumph to get the buy-in from key stakeholders on new designs. Our engineering team then reviewed all the entries and shortlisted the finalists down to 12 students. We had a lot of good projects this year, so our team really struggled to pick the finalists. Unfortunately, there were several creative and enthusiastic students that couldn't make it through to the finals. We hope that you continue with your passion for design and enter again next year if possible. Over the last week, our 12 finalists have been interviewed by the senior engineers at Triumph. Following the interviews, the judges have picked 4 prize winners. The prizes we will be awarding tonight are the Innovation Prize. This will be awarded to the student who's presented the product with the most original design. We are always excited by ideas that we've never seen before. The Impact and Society Prize will be awarded to the student who has considered the environmental and social impact of their project to minimise waste or benefit the community. The Committee Prize will be awarded at the discretion of the Triumph Design Awards Committee. It will be awarded to the participant whose project didn't quite fit our judging criteria, but we still felt deserved an award for their work. And finally, the overall winner will be awarded to the individual who has considered each one of our judging criteria to the highest level. Tonight in this show, we'll get to see the videos from all 12 finalists, along with a few bits of behind-the-scenes content showing how we design and develop our bikes. Following that, we'll have a short break before we are joined live by all of our finalists and our very special guest, Lord Digby Jones, who will award all of the prizes tonight. That's enough from me for now. Let's get the show started.
Okay, shall we kickstart this year's Design Award entries?
Yeah, let's get it started.
Our first entry is Airtime from Devon.
Protecting indoor spaces with Airtime. Airtime aims to solve the problem faced by society during the pandemic where indoor spaces were locked down. Effective air purifiers would prevent these restrictions returning by limiting the impact of future variants or other airborne diseases. However, existing products are obtrusive within indoor spaces. Airtime solves this by purifying air whilst displaying the time. The multifunctionality enables it to blend discreetly into its environment, whether that's a school, office or gym. My product draws air through an activated carbon pre-filter, followed by a HEPA filter, and finally rows of UVC LEDs to maximize air quality. These filters can be easily accessed via the magnetic hinge mechanism for regular maintenance. Airtime is mounted to the wall via aluminium French cleats to ensure stability. An Arduino Pro microcontroller is soldered to the main PCB alongside a real-time clock module and 2 air quality sensors. One sensor is on the clean air side, the other on the normal air side to determine how the airflow needs to be adjusted. The boards for the motion sensor, power supply, UVC LEDs and RGB LEDs are all wired to the main board. The program uses a closed-loop control system to maximize efficiency. I reached this design using an iterative design process where I developed a series of ideas using sketches, cardboard models, research, small-scale prototypes, feedback, simulations and renders. My product renders show the internal hardware, as well as the ability to change color every hour to indicate air quality. Over the past year, I faced many obstacles, but I managed to manufacture the majority of my final prototype. In the summer, I plan to finish my prototype and experiment with centrifugal fan and custom filter designs, which would result in a more compact product. I look forward to exploring how I can commercialize this modified design.
That was a really fantastic video. I really liked how they had in-use maintenance to reduce waste. The French cleat design was really innovative and I really like the way it was used effectively in this project. And it's a really good combination of CAD modelling, rapid prototyping, all the processes required to make an amazing product.
I really enjoyed that the product blends into its surroundings and it's not intrusive to the space it's meant to be in. I look forward to seeing how Devon overcomes the commercial challenges for this product.
The next entry is from Gianpaolo with their project, Hydrocharge.
Hydrocharge uses flowing water to charge mobile devices. Its high-capacity internal battery can quickly charge a device whenever needed, even when on the move. Hydrocharge is small and light enough to easily be carried in a rucksack, equipped with a versatile anchoring system, extremely quiet, eco-friendly, safe for wildlife and the environment, and affordable. Hikers or campers are often unable to use mobile devices in remote locations due to lack of electricity. A mobile device can be useful for orientation or entertainment and essential in an emergency situation. Making the remote outdoor experience more accessible may also attract a greater number and variety of people to discover and enjoy nature. Additionally, Hydrocharge showcases how electricity can be sustainably generated even at a small scale. I followed a structured process across ideation, design and iterative development, obtaining stakeholder input throughout. I brainstormed 20 concepts and selected the most promising 3, building physical models of each, obtaining stakeholder feedback and making theoretical models of their power generation. Based on these evaluations, I selected a hydroelectric concept. In the design phase, I followed a parallel process with multiple iterations of CAD modelling, development and testing for each key aspect. I tested several ways of building the final prototype with various materials and manufacturing methods. I ran functional tests on key components and following successful outcomes, I created a fully working prototype. Final testing in a river verified that it worked correctly in an outdoor setting and met all key stakeholder requirements. I created a brand name, a logo and a tagline. Due to simple manufacturing processes and inexpensive materials used, I calculate that it can be profitably sold for around £80. I would improve the next version of the design by adding a second USB port as an input to allow pre-charging by mains power, adding an LED to indicate battery charge level, and further reducing weight and construction cost.
I think that was a great project. I like how portable the design is and how considerate to the environment he was.
Yeah, it was amazing. I really enjoyed how he was so direct to camera. I think it was really difficult to achieve. He had a great idea generation, and also the the good fit is really great physical testing of the prototype in the river. It's amazing to see.
The next entry is from Samuel with their project, the Uhu pouch dispenser for a triathlon bike.
Hello, my name is Samuel Quino, and this is my product, the Uhu pouch dispenser for a triathlon bike. My design brief for this product was my GCSE brief, to design a product for a sustainable future. I identified single-use plastic bottles as a problem, which led me to their use in sports. I landed on triathlons as they had received little to no design input. This led me to my client Matt. He is a keen cyclist, personal trainer, and regularly participates in triathlons. Whilst looking at alternatives to water bottles, I found No PLA, who were pioneering a new product called an Uhu. An Uhu is a pillow-shaped seaweed capsule, which can hold any liquid. It can be totally ingested or the seaweed thrown, as it will decompose in 10 days. Matt and I decided that we would use this technology. Our first prototypes, which were made out of rough and ready cardboard, we used to determine the ergonomics and anthropometrics that would suit Matt best. We learned that the top frame of the bike wasn't feasible, which allowed us to decide on the handlebars. It allowed Matt to stay aerodynamic while grabbing the capsule, unlike a conventional water bottle holder, or if the product had been placed on the top frame. Once we had established that, we began to use CAD software to produce our prototypes, which were based on ergonomics, mainly how we were going to attach it to the bike. After many iterations, we'd created a way to attach the product to an existing Garmin attacher on his bike. With this solved, we created a final prototype, which fitted Matt's needs for ergonomics and anthropometrics. However, he was obsessed with weight savings. It needed to be as light as possible. So, we sent the model through the generative design process, which created this rather absurd yet beautiful final product. If I had more time to develop this product, I would create it to be used in more applications. We created this as a hugely specific and bespoke product to Matt, and it could have potential for many more applications.
So that was another amazing project. I think they had fantastic presentation skills. I really like the use of this new product, Uhu, and using that product in their own product to make a new product segment for triathlon bikes. The one thing I'm interested in is how much weight does that save over a conventional water bottle?
I agree with you. I think the product is very specific to the market. I would like to see how it can expand further and develop to other sports. I also liked how sleek and aerodynamic the design was.
Our next entry is from Eugene with their project, the Smart Bin.
Hi, my name is Odin and I've designed a smart bin that helps to prevent overflowing waste. Due to COVID restrictions, the prototype is made at home using cardboards. The ultrasonic sensor under the lid measures the duration for a sound wave to travel down to the rubbish and reflects back, which can be used to calculate the distance between the sensor and the waste. The percentage of saturation is displayed on the LCD display. Besides, I've built an app with MIT App Inventor 2, which connects users' devices to the HC05 Bluetooth module, so that they could monitor the bin remotely and clear waste before it gets full. Also, users can display their own messages on the LCD display as well. A manual compactor is designed to either compact general waste or crush aluminum cans, slowing the speed of saturation. To make disposing waste more convenient, the bin opens automatically when a user swipes his hand over the IR motion sensor. The servo motor then turns, and with the help of 3D printed linkages, the lid opens, so users do not even need to touch the bin. Lots of tests are done to make sure all components function correctly. For example, long messages cannot be fully displayed initially, so I imported a code from the Arduino official page that is responsible for scrolling tasks. Another problem is the user interface in the app. Screens cannot be switched when connecting to the Bluetooth due to programming restrictions. Therefore, I used virtual screens to enable or disable the visibility of components to mimic screen switching. If I had more time, I would install a solar panel to power the bin, promoting the use of renewable energy. I would also consider using Wi-Fi connection to get the data from multiple bins so that it can be stored in a centralized database more easily, which increases the flexibility for companies.
That was a great project. I think it's very convenient and very sanitary approach to waste disposal as well.
Yeah, I thought I had some really good functional prototypes using cardboard, given the current circumstances we're in. I like the companion app, like it could expand what maybe that bin could do for a user or even a company. So one thought was, could this be used in large organisations to kind of monitor their bins and reduce the amount of people working removing waste?
The next entry is from Jin with their project 100% compostable.
My product name is 100% compostable. Food packaging in particular is causing rising concern for the environment due to its high production volume, often short usage time, and its journey straight to the landfill. So I decided to focus on rethinking it. How? The design brief, a small collection of compostable fruit packaging, which will introduce the circular economy into supermarkets by allowing the user to grow flowers by simply tearing it into sheets and burying it under the soil. Analysis of a wide range of products really inspired me to focus on choosing a biodegradable material for my own. I found that a minimal and chic design really complemented the natural colours of a recycled and potentially rough material. User feedback also highlighted the importance of windows in food packaging. Here are my initial designs for both the box itself and the sleeve too. And this is one of the two designs which I took forward for development. Modelling enabled me to determine that the traditional clamshell concept really would improve the ergonomy of my product, and different exploration of net designs allowed me to produce a net that allows nesting if this were to be mass produced. Testing newspaper and cardboard, both being largely produced and waste materials, was key to find which would be most suitable for my product in terms of strength and quality. I eventually manufactured these two boxes of different shapes using old newspaper, flower seeds and card. Having the material mass-produced will introduce the use of traditional paper-making processes of pulping, rolling and drying, so no new machines will be needed to be designed or manufactured. As for cutting the net out, it can easily be die cut, as several batches can be cut in one motion from one large sheet of material. 100% compostable will not take much more processes than the traditional polymer clamshell, and it will be so much more sustainable and beneficial for the environment by feeding the ecosystem with flowers. Thank you.
Cool, so that was another amazing project. I really liked their working prototype. Great to see it in the ground and growing flowers. It's good to think about mass manufacture as well, so they're nesting the shapes in to get more out of a sheet, which reduces waste. And I really like how they changed a waste product into a usable product, so we're taking that packaging and making it useful. I really hope we see more of that in the future in our shops.
I really like the fresh approach to recycling and how it can be reused again, and I like the fact that she didn't have to invent new machinery to create the product. She actually reused what we currently have, current processes, so that was great.
Yeah. So the next entry is from Connor with their project Smart Crib.
Hello, I'm Connor Berrowcloth, and my project aimed to solve the problem of sleep deprivation in the parents of newborns. Sleep deprivation is experienced by most parents of newborns, and in the worst case can result in microsleeping, in which a parent can fall asleep uncontrollably and can endanger lives when driving. Most parents will experience increased stress and anxiety, as well as noticing that they become shorter-tempered. These effects of sleep deprivation dampen the parenting experience, which is supposed to be one of the greatest experiences in one's life. I look to solve this problem by mimicking a womb environment, calming the baby and automatically putting it back to sleep without parental interference, giving the parent a full night's sleep. It does this by detecting when the baby wakes up, triggering a haptic motor, which mimics a heartbeat, and a speaker which plays assorted womb noises. My solution stemmed from research into ways to calm a baby, as well as client interviews with parents that had been affected by sleep deprivation. Debunking methods such as rocking and lullabies, which not only aren't universally effective, but can also keep the baby awake. Client interviews also led to the development of a lift mechanism to lift the crib up and ease back strain, again helping to make the parenting experience more enjoyable. From an environmental point of view, the crib is flat packable, relying on self-assembly, reducing its packaging size and thus reducing the environmental damage. The modular design also doubles up to extend the product's life, as the crib can be repurposed to become a toy box or later a coffee table. For aesthetics, I combine the sleek natural aesthetic of bent wood with the playful aesthetic of a shape sorter, allowing the crib to both fit in the modern home and a nursery. The lift I chose minimises impact on the design as it slots underneath the crib. The next few pages are of my CAD, and the final slide shows me starting to manufacture the crib and lift. In my 400 words, I will talk about commercial viability and what I would improve.
I think that was another great project. I see a lot of new parents very thankful for the design. It's nice to see that there was forethought regarding the end of life of the project as well.
Yeah, I really liked how they researched lots of the functions of the crib, what it should do and maybe what it shouldn't do based on what they'd found in the field. I really like the flat pack design, reduces the amount of waste during transportation. And again, I really like the end of life strategy. The idea of turning it into a coffee table is really cool. I just wonder what his plans are for the jack. Okay, so we'll take a break from the entries for this year's competition and we'll see a short video from Henry, one of our 2019 winners.
Hi, my name is Henry and I'm from Lancaster Royal Grammar School and I attended the 2019 Triumph Design Awards. So my product that I took to the Triumph Design Awards was called Airate. The basics of it was an evacuation aid that could be used by occupants in high-rise buildings which would enable them to escape. It would provide the 20% of oxygen that your body needs to keep going. The inspiration behind the product was the Grenfell Tower tragedy. I just thought it was a really important event to show that people do need safety when they're staying and occupying high-rise buildings, and that it's something that needs to be changed for the future, just in case an event like this happens again. So I would highly recommend taking part in the Triumph Design Awards. It's a no-brainer really, because you've done all the work and all you need to do is submit an application, and that's really simple as well. There's no extra work required, and then you just come along to the day and enjoy it. So I was absolutely ecstatic to win the award. It wasn't something that I ever thought would happen, so to come here and end the day with going home with the trophy was simply amazing. So I would say it really helps if you can freely talk about your project, as you'll come across really well and you'll know everything that you've developed and designed. But additionally, the main thing is to just really enjoy the day and take it all in. I've had an excellent week here in the factory in Hinckley. I'm learning all about what a design engineer does and what his role is, and I'd really love to do this in the future in my line of work as well.
That was a great project from Henry, and I'm glad he enjoyed his work experience with us. We are looking forward to inviting the winners this year to the design office to experience firsthand what a career designing motorcycles is like. Next up, we're going to have a couple of short videos giving a sneak peek on how we design and test our bikes.
So my name's Hugh, I'm a design engineer in the accessories department here at Triumph.
My name is Marissa and I'm senior design engineer at Triumph Motorcycles in the accessories design team. Some accessories that I've designed include seats, indicators and exhaust silencers.
So I did design technology at both A-level and GCSE, which I really feel helped develop my creativity, which is not something that I would say comes naturally to me.
I love seeing people using our products out on the road, and it's really exciting seeing them enjoying the things that I've personally designed.
Creativity is something I have to rely on when coming up with new designs or improving existing ones.
I loved studying design and technology at school because it allowed me to explore my crazy ideas and turn them into reality, which is something that we do every day on projects at work.
Hopefully those videos give you a little taste of what it's like to work here and how the skills you learn in school can be very valuable for your career. And now back to the entries. Next we have Sam with his interactive fundraising project.
Hello, I'm Samuel Deacon and I'm a Year 12 Design Technology student at Loughborough Grammar School, and I have designed an interactive fundraising product for an installation at Twycross Zoo.
Over the COVID-19 lockdown, I have read many articles indicating that zoos are struggling for funding, This inspired me to generate a solution. I developed a preliminary design brief that you can see below. Here is my research and prototyping stage. Here is further research and commercial considerations. Just before the build stage, I finalised the individual sub-assemblies, such as the dispensing mechanism, and combined them together within the prototype. The CAD simulation also mimics a giraffe after being inspired by the geometric forms of the Art Deco period, following inspiration found through my research. Due to COVID restrictions, it became necessary to build the proof of concept model at home and from card. Fortunately, I was able to use the school's laser cutter to enhance the accuracy of my card model. The first issue I found was my large bearings were too heavy to be used in card, and so a fidget spinner bearing was mounted in some pine to create a mountable bearing housing. The electronics were then assembled, including the bearing and roller assembly. The sprung-loaded card tray was then assembled, followed by the cat food coin sorter, to replace a design that would have been a 3D printed unit. The largest problem to overcome was the friction of the card. This was overcome using some spare Teflon cooking mats, where things were needed to slide, like on the card tray and the coin sorter. Here is my final prototype. If I had more time, I would have added horns, ears, and colour, like in my CAD models. Here is my working prototype. I input a pound coin and then sort it. It falls into the collection area where a bung was later added, and as it is more than £1, a card mask is ejected for a child.
That was great from Sam. I think it's really good to find new ways to donate to charity.
Yeah, and I love the modular design. It means you can adapt it to a variety of different environments, so it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I really liked his use of cardboard, especially given what we've been going through, difficult to get into school and use department. I really liked his resourcing of a fidget spinner bearing, and then also his use of the Teflon sheets. Okay, and next up we have Ella with the modular mobility aid.
Hi, I'm Ella. After learning that 80% of mobility aids end up in landfill each year and seeing users complain about the comfort of existing products, I have designed a recyclable modular mobility aid for those needing support or rehabilitation. It's designed to benefit the users because it's 3 products in one. It easily transforms from a walking frame into crutches or into a walking stick, depending on what the user's needs are and how they may change over time. It's suitable for anyone taller than 150 centimetres, so roughly 13 plus. As well as being modular, there are 3 further innovations. First, user comfort. The handles reduce wrist strain by fitting ergonomically in the user's hand. There are interchangeable handle inserts for different levels of comfort and support for the wrists. The walking stick handle has a hook at the end which allows the user to hold a bag so they don't have to put their bag on the floor to get their keys out. There is also a Velcro arm cuff to provide more support around the forearm for the crutches. Second, safety. My ferrule design allows the user to choose optional ferrules depending on their level of stability. The first is similar to existing walking sticks, the second has a wider base and provides extra traction on uneven surfaces, and the third one flexes as the user walks and so stays in contact with the floor for longer. Third, environmental and cost savings. Recyclability. Both aluminium and PLA are recyclable via household recycling facilities and so don't require returning to the hospital. PLA is also biodegradable and made from organic sources, so is more environmentally friendly than regular plastic. The manufacturing process has little waste and any PLA waste can be melted and re-extruded as new filament. This product costs £40 compared to an NHS cost of £61 for all 3 products. Let me show you how simple it is. If we start with a walking frame, we remove the top and bottom bracing bars and we are left with a walking stick. The handles on the walking stick are changed like this. To change the walking stick into a crutch, we add the arm cuff. The height of any pole can be changed by adding in extension pieces that come in a variety of lengths. The ferrules can be changed by screwing a new one into the bottom of the pole. Given the COVID constraints, I've been unable to carry out user testing with my intended target users, and so to further improve the product, I would carry out that user testing and make changes as necessary. I would also seek to make the handle inserts out of alternative materials such as foam or silicone to further aid comfort. Thank you for listening.
Excellent presentation from Ella. I thought the idea was really great and it saved the NHS money and space.
Yeah, that's true. I really like that she considered the life cycle of the project. I like that she considered the end of life and that it will be recyclable in the future.
Yeah, and then the customizable hand inserts and feet made it really adaptable for different scenarios. So yeah. Very interesting project.
Good project, yeah.
Next up we have Sarim with his Desk for Designers.
Hello, so this is my submission for the Triumph Design Awards. My product is a desk for designers. So first of all, I started to do some research. I looked at my own workspace and I found that it was very messy and there was like constant need to move stuff around to accommodate other things, things like drawing pads, pens or a keyboard. It it's just not very organized at all, which of course makes your desk not very efficient, especially when you're designing. Then decided to do lots of research into the problem and into people who use desks. So I looked at AI systems, ergonomics, how people structure their own desk setups, and any other products which designers use. So then that led directly into ideation. So this is the back and forth process of designing, talking to my users, getting their feedback, and then using that feedback to design more, and then this process of going backwards and forwards between the two. Which of course, and that did that again for another 2 pages, and then that went on for this final design. So this features a posable quick access space for pens, pencils and rulers, a posable drawing area which can be folded up and down for your any drawing needs, an easy pull out space for your keyboard, as well as an AI smart screen which leads to more efficiency. I also included a wood resin combo for kind of a visual flair, you could say. Manufacture is very interesting too. I looked at lots of different things, so as you can see I made a full orthographic drawing as well as information on how it would actually be made in industry. I did decide to make this product a bespoke piece. So some of the processes include the specifics of resin pouring as well as casting, and I also managed to discuss elements such as fittings and how it would all go together. Some of these things included threaded inserts for the legs, or simple screws for the keyboard tray.
What a great project for the current scenario we find ourselves in. I certainly would have found that useful at the beginning of lockdown.
Yeah, and I really liked the bespoke design. I thought it was really interesting, and I also liked his research into ergonomics and the function of the desk.
Yeah, I think he really considered manufacturing techniques and also the assembly of the product. Next up is Felix's 3-wheeled electric skateboard.
Hi, I'm Felix, and this is my electric skateboard project. So the purpose of this project was to give teenagers independence in travel. After doing market research, product analysis and client interviews, I decided the best way to do this would be to create some sort of small electric vehicle. Based on this brief, I created 6 initial design ideas and then streamlined these into 3 more specific design ideas, which I then modelled and rendered in CAD. After performing some client interviews, I took the best elements from each design and made them into one final design, which I modelled in CAD, and then set to manufacture. I started with the deck. It has a curved kicktail, handle slot, and unique pinstripe design. The most unique part of this project is the 3-wheeled setup. I chose this because it allows for a larger in-wheel motor and creates a really visually striking aesthetic, but it does make the electronics more complicated. I used an old in-wheel scooter motor from an electric scooter and customized an electronic speed controller to work with it, as well as making a custom 36-volt LiPo battery pack that would provide the voltage that the ESC and wheel required. Overall, I'm really happy with how the project has turned out. However, there are a few flaws with my finished product. To start, the deck had to be reinforced with steel as it was not strong enough. I would still like to use a wooden deck, but instead of flexi-ply, I would use hardwood ply like maple or even bamboo, as this keeps the wooden aesthetic and the sustainable aspect, but increases the strength by quite a large margin. Another issue with the board was the choice of batteries. While the performance of the board is great, it's really difficult to charge the batteries as you need a balance charger. This greatly damages the ease of use. My target market are teenagers, not experts. So in future I will add a BMS to make charging easier, as well as an external charging port for ease of use. Thanks for watching, I hope you liked my project.
Yeah, very interesting video from Felix. I liked his final model, and also his CAD was very nice.
Yeah, I was very impressed with his battery knowledge, and his electronics package allowed for future optimization. Generally, his battery knowledge was really on point.
Yeah, and it also looks like a lot of fun. I'd definitely like to enjoy a ride in this prototype.
Yeah, me too.
Next up, we have Ramandeep with the Solar Blind project.
The demand for energy in recent years has risen exponentially, with global energy-related CO2 emissions rising 1.7% in 2018. Consumers and companies alike demand change, with the Mayor of London setting a target that 15% of London's energy must come from renewable sources by 2030. To learn more about this target market, I conducted both a questionnaire and a focus group to ensure that there was an adequate demand for my product, and from this research, I created solar blinds. Solar blinds are blinds that can convert solar energy into electrical energy to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. Solar blinds were created as an unobtrusive way to meet our demand for energy without hindering our daily routines. Solar blinds create the maximum amount of energy using the most efficient mechanism. They do this by using an open feedback loop consisting of LDRs, solar panels, a servo motor, an Arduino and an AC to DC boost converter. The LDR detects the area with the highest amount of sunlight, and the servo motor moves the rack and pinion mechanism up and down. This directly moves the panel housing the cells to face this area to produce the highest amount of electricity possible. This panel is represented in the electronics model by this piece of MDF. Currently, the energy from the blinds is stored here in the AC to DC boost converter, so that the energy can be used to charge any electrical device or phone by simply plugging it in. In the future, my next step would be to reroute the energy created directly into the mains, so the electricity created could be used to power the room the blinds are in.
To design solar blinds, I used a user-centered design process. Through obtaining constant user feedback, I was able to learn the needs and preferences of the consumer. I started off with sketches and models using evaluation tables against my specification, and using an iterative design process, I made incremental improvements to find the right solution for my problems, not just the easiest one. Through this, the most important thing I learned is that streamlining a product doesn't always make it easier to use. By having clear buttons, handles, and switches, the product becomes more inclusive and allows a larger range of people to use it. I also conducted tests regularly and constructed my Arduino code using subroutines, so it was easier to debug and identify problems.
It's great to see another innovative project from Ramandeep, as she was also a finalist in 2019.
Yeah, it's a really good concept. Be able to generate energy, and then also you save energy because you get to close the blinds while the sun's at its peak.
Yeah, that's
so you
true.
reduce cost in air conditioning. It's very good.
It's a great set and forget product actually, because once you've set it up, it's good to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
The final project is Alexander's Coast Rescue Drone.
Hello, my name is Alex Milbank, and my project aims to save the lives of people swept away by riptides on the coast. From an interview with a lifeguard, I found that one of the most dangerous events to occur are people swept away by riptides. Riptides are common on beaches, and if an inexperienced swimmer is sucked into one, it could prove fatal. Lifeguards coming to assist may also be caught as well. For example, in 2014, 7 surfers were caught in a riptide at Morgan Porth near Newquay. Out of the 7, 4 were severely injured and 3 died. This is a serious problem. The solution is a quick response unit which can overcome a riptide to provide aid before the person is sucked under. The solution I would use is a drone which can drop an inflatable device to the person accurately. These pictures show rescue drones from other countries who already implement them on their coasts, so it's a concept which works in the real world. I first experimented with PLA, however I discovered that it was too flexible to act as the drone base after testing. Next, I used aluminium for the base of another prototype. I used a laser cutter and jig to create it, so its manufacturability is still good. Although it was good in impact testing, I found it was still too heavy for a drone. I then experimented with epoxy resin. I added red pigment to make it easy to identify and make it aesthetically pleasing. However, it was still too brittle. Blending fiberglass with epoxy resin was the best combination, as it was light, impact resistant and durable. I tested each material with a different prototype. I modelled it around an FPV drone's electronics. The one I used is for beginners to intermediate, and as most lifeguards aren't skilled in flying drones, this is ideal. An FPV camera will make it easier to pinpoint where the victim is. This table shows the cost to create the drone, and I will talk further about commercial viability in my 400 words. Thank you for watching.
It was great that he benchmarked other drones to find out where he could improve his product.
Yeah, I really liked the fact that he made several different prototypes and tested a lot of different materials to find the right one.
Yeah, and he did quite a comprehensive costing of his product and then also worked out the commercial viability, which is good.
Yeah. And that brings a close to this year's entries, and what fantastic entries they are. I am always amazed at the innovation and level of detail that our finalists produce in their projects. Before I leave, I just wanted to give you a brief overview of some of the trophies to give you an idea of how we made them. These three are all made primarily from Rocket 3 engine parts and Speed Triple gearbox parts. The base is a clutch basket, and the gears surrounding the logo are a fifth gear. The logo surround is 3D printed, and the logo is the one we use on several engines. We then have a conrod, gudgeon pin and piston, all from the Rocket 3. The Rocket 3 is the largest production motorcycle engine worldwide with a capacity of 2,500cc or 2.5 litres. Triumph is famous for its triples, and the Rocket 3 is indeed a triple. For scale, I have here a Triumph Trident and Rocket 3 piston. The Trident has an engine capacity of 660cc, whilst a single cylinder of the Rocket 3 is 833cc, meaning that the volume in one Rocket 3 cylinder is more than all three of the Trident. That's it from me. The judges are making some final assessments, and we will shortly be joined by all of the finalists and Lord Digby Jones for the prize giving.
My name's Joshi, and I attended King Edward School in Edgbaston. My project for the Triumph Design Awards was the Halo Smart Protect. So the Halo Smart Protect is a small fire alarm-like unit which can detect carbon monoxide, gas, smoke and burglary through a motion sensor that's inbuilt into it. And if any of those threats are detected, it'll send an alert straight to your smartphone as well as sounding an alarm inside your home. Entering the Triumph Design Awards was really simple. You just have to write a small passage, most of which can be copied and pasted from your A-levels project, and enter a few photos as well. Regardless of whether or not I won, I still found it a lot of fun. And it was nice meeting new people and seeing their ideas and getting advice from all the experts and engineers.
Passionate, committed, you might even say obsessive.
You could call all of us driven, dedicated, focused. Why do we do it? For the beauty, the precision, for the way it makes us feel, for the heat hazes, the bends, the tunnels, for leaning forward, for leaning in, for just going, for the horizon, for just riding the dirt tracks, the ups and the downs, for the comfort, for the turns, the thrill, rush, for the faster time, for the longer distance, for the peace of the moment, for that perfect sound. The thunder and the lightning, the dark and the light, the future and the past, high-tech, hand-built, the corners and the straights, ridden harder, traveled further. We're two sides of the same coin. By riders, for riders. A shared ambition. Always chasing the perfect ride. Why do we do it? That's why.
And to the teachers, again, thank you. In a very, very challenging year, to give of your time, to give of your help and assistance, to get these fabulous young people into the final, I think is just wonderful. So from all of us here at Triumph, we would just say to the mums and the dads and the teachers, thank you so very much. It's a very, very competitive world out there. Whether it is the world coming out of the pandemic and all of the...
Sorry, Digby, can we pause for a minute? I think we've lost sound on the YouTube stream. So we're just, if we pause 1 minute and it should return onto YouTube stream. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Okay, we're back. Thank you.
And did you get all of that?
We missed the first part of it. unfortunately, sorry.
Which part did you miss?
I'm not sure, probably the first minute.
Well, the first minute was me saying that you're all welcome. Thank you for tolerating such a difficult time. We understand how difficult it's been. We're triumphant across the world, and I applaud you all for your innovation and your sense of commitment that's got you to the finals tonight. I've been involved in this from the very start, and I really do love to see young people growing and developing, and you are our future. And so Saturday in July, I used to come over to the factory and see all these wonderful ideas in practice. And so I say thank you. And then I guess the teachers and the mums and dads who are going to get this on YouTube, I guess that's where, if they say in cinemas, that's where you came in. So thank you to them as well. It's a very, very important time for you, for Triumph, for our country, for the world. You see, whether it is pandemic, post-pandemic, crisis, and then economic growth and challenge, whether it is Britain rowing her own canoe, paddling her own canoe out in the world, out with the European Union because of Brexit, whether it is the growing and the growth of Asia, this is Asia's time, not just China, but Japan and Taiwan and Singapore and Indonesia and Vietnam, Thailand. This is Asia's century in so many ways, and they will bring challenges as well. Whatever it is, there will be no room in Britain for people who don't get a skill and who then don't use that skill to go and create a future for themselves. It is that important, because the only way any country in the Western world will succeed is if they go to the value-added end of the equation. If they think they will make things and provide services which sell only on price, a commodity, they will fail. Because there'll be someone in Asia, someone in India, someone in Bangladesh, someone in Pakistan who will do it more cheaply. So the way to win is add value to the thing that we make because of this, using this. And that is what makes these awards so important, because you, every one of you, actually have shown that you get that you are innovative, that you are inventive, that you are using your ideas and going forward. And that will put you in wonderful, wonderful good stead for the challenges ahead. Innovation is not invention. Innovation is taking an idea to market. Invention is the idea. Innovation is actually getting to a point where somebody will buy it and use it and value it. So a good example would be, there is my iPhone. Now that is actually made by somebody in Vietnam, probably. But the idea, the ability to take that invention and go and market it around the world and make not only a fortune, but change all our lives by Mr. Jobs and his colleagues. That is innovation, taking the idea to market. And that's what you've all done. That's exactly what you've all done. Is you've taken your ideas and you've got them to a point where they work. You've got them to a point where they could be developed for a market. You are innovators, every one of you. We at Triumph applaud that. We thank you for it. We rejoice in your success. Now, there can't be everyone a winner. And the only way you get winners is more than the people who win enter the competition. And then you can have a winner. So if you don't succeed tonight, I suggest you have another go. Because in life, you're not going to succeed every time. And you have to keep going, and you have to have another go. And if you do succeed tonight and you do win, then not only should you give yourself a pat on your back, but be magnanimous. Reach out to the people who don't, and understand that it would be very, very easy for you to be them. And if people can have that understanding in the world, well, wouldn't it be a better place to live? So that's enough from me as chairman of Triumph Motorcycles. And I thank you. And let us move on now to the awards themselves. And the first award is the committee prize. Now, this person has a project which is packaging for food in supermarkets that can be torn into pieces after use and planted into the ground to grow flowers. That's absolutely spot on to where our future is. And it's Jim Liang, and it's called 100% Compostable from Tiffin Girls' School. Jin, can I see you?
Unfortunately, Jin wasn't able to make the show tonight, but we'll try and film an interview with her later, and we'll post it onto the YouTube channel.
Well done. Well, Jin, when you see this, many congratulations. The second prize is for the impact on society. And this one, the winner is Ella Freeman. And I can see you, Ella. I've got you there. There you are. Hello. Congratulations. It's called the Modular Mobility Aid. And this is a mobility aid that can be transformed from a walking frame to crutches to a walking stick very easily. It's a product that can be adapted to the user's needs, and it can be recycled more easily at the end of its life. Henrietta Barnett School will be very, very proud of you. We are at Triumph. Congratulations. Well done. The third prize, spot on with what I was talking about earlier, is the Innovation Prize. And this goes to Gianpaolo Rougeau. Who can I see, Gianpaolo? Yes, I can. There we go. Hi. Hello. Congratulations. Very well done. Now, this project is called Hydrocharge. It's a device people can place in the river or a stream to generate electricity that can be used to charge your phone or switch on a light. Now, that's brilliant. And it's a shame, actually, that I'm not in Triumph's factory with you this afternoon, tonight, because on a normal one of these awards, I'd be all over that, so I wouldn't understand it, and you could show me how it works. But I think it's absolutely the future. So many, many congratulations, Gianpaolo, and you're from the Haberdashers' Asks Boys' School, so I'm sure they're very, very, very proud of you. Now, before I go to the overall winner, I'd just like a little chat with each of these winners. Obviously not Jin, not around, but let's start with you, Gianpaolo. Tell me, what gave you the idea?
So I wanted to solve a problem related to the countryside. I've been a scout for many years, and I wanted to kind of draw from my own experiences and solve a problem related to the outdoors. Hopefully make the outdoors more accessible, more enjoyable, as this allows people to use their phone for an indefinite period of time, potentially over like a really long excursion. At the same time, it also tackles climate change, of course, drawing energy at a small scale, sustainably, not relying on mains electricity, which is more often than not derived from fossil fuels.
Well, tell me, how does it work? Because if you put it in, I can see if you put it in a fast-moving stream, I get that, whip the wheel around, generate electricity. Yeah. But a lot of rivers, you have to watch them carefully to see them move. So how do you get that one working?
So it actually does flow in quite a gentle stream of water as well, because it's quite a big paddle, so it doesn't need a particularly fast-flowing stream to work. Actually, it can work in something quite slow. I've tested it under just a running tap.
Would it work under a running tap?
Yes.
Amazing. Oh, well, many, many congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And let's just find Ella. There we are. Do you want to come back up, Ella? There we go. So, Ella, talk to me about this mobility aid. I mean, it sounds fabulous because it can convert one into another. What gave you the idea?
So I've got a friend who broke her ankle twice in the space of 6 months, and she had 4 crutches lying around at home. and didn't know what to do with them. And I learned that 80% of crutches and other mobility aids don't get returned to the NHS, they end up in landfill. And so I wanted to do something that would solve that problem. And so I created 3 products in one that reduced the waste, and it's 3D printed, and so it's all biodegradable.
And is it in use?
It's not been fully tested yet. Unfortunately, due to COVID, I haven't been able to, but that's the next step.
And how will you tell me how it'll be tested?
So the ferrules, which are the stoppers on the base of the poles, I'm going to test those in a variety of weather conditions and surfaces to check their grip and how much support they provide on the ground. The handles have been tested by a variety of users, and I've had good feedback on those. And then just generally, I test the load-bearing weight of it.
Right. And have you got anybody who's anybody at the school who's interested, or maybe sports teams? Well, I would have thought sports team.
Maybe. I've not really had time to check that out yet.
I'd have thought that. Was your friend's ankle, was it the same ankle the second time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Same one?
Yeah.
Doing the same thing?
No, she's just a bit clumsy.
Very painful. Well, congratulations, Ella. Well done.
Thank you.
And so we move on to the overall winner. And this is again, and I'm very pleased to see that there's so much sensitivity to this planet of ours. But the overall winner this year of the Triumph Awards comes from Henrietta Barnett School, and it is Ramandeep Paul. There she is. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very, very well done. Now, this is a project called Solar Blinds. It's a shutter style blind with built-in solar panels that automatically adjust position to receive the most amount of light. Now, there's a very good reason why I'm particularly pleased that you've won this, which is that I can remember the last time we did this for real, which was 2019, because last year we couldn't do it, of course, and this year this is a little bit impacted. But the last time we did it for real, you came to Hinckley and you didn't win.
Yeah.
and I remember saying, as I've said tonight, you know, to everybody, if you don't win, pick yourself up, look in the mirror, shed your tears, and tomorrow is another day, and get on with it, and you will win. And you have, haven't you? Yeah. And in 2019 you didn't, and tonight you've walked off with the silverware. And that's fabulous. Wonderful. And congratulations. And we're all delighted for you.
Thank you.
Now tell me about it. What gave you the idea?
Well, I think just recently companies and consumers alike have been demanding that their products are more sustainable. But most of these products, they're too expensive and they're obtrusive, so they get in the way of everyone's daily routine. So I had the idea of just taking solar blinds and solar panels, and implementing them into something we use every day.
And where was your biggest challenge in doing that?
Definitely, I think figuring out the electronics and making it worthwhile so that the solar panels actually produce enough energy to be like economically viable.
Yeah. And so when it says here that they automatically adjust to receive the most amount of light, how?
So they have LDRs, and then I program them so that.
I might be chairman of the company, but I'm not a scientist. What's an LDR?
Sorry, they have light-dependent resistors, so they have sensors.
Of course they do. Yes, Johnny.
Yeah.
Go on,
so they can detect where the highest amount of sunlight is coming from, and then they can move to that position.
And those are. Can I go and buy those in a store, or do you have to make them?
No, you can buy them. I think the ones I use were 7p each or something ridiculously cheap.
And you can buy them from online or something.
Yeah, I got them from Wix. So.
Yeah, quite. Yeah. Oh, fabulous! And what are you going to do with it? Now you've won the prize. What are you going to do?
I think I definitely want to develop it, and because I didn't get the time to finish the outer casing because of COVID, that's definitely something I want to try and make now.
Right. And how long do you think that'll take you?
I have the CAD for it, so I don't think it will take me that long. I just need to print everything.
I suppose I should just say, what would you do in the afternoon? Yeah. Congratulations. Maybe I could close and hand you back by saying that it's such an important time, and we at Triumph will always support you. because we believe in you, every one of you, not just the winners. And we really do want you to succeed. And if you want a good quality career in design, we're the place for you. That you, in all the board meetings, you should see the emphasis we put on design, the emphasis on new models, new systems, constantly investing. John Bloor owns the company 100%, and he always looks at the medium term, and he always invests, constantly invests. And so it's a fabulous company for bright minds like yours. So as you head off into the next stages of your careers, I guess a lot of them will be university. If you ever want a career in design, I suggest you call us. And if you don't, I know where you live. So all the very best to you. Congratulations. To the winners, well done. To those who didn't win tonight, just remember tonight's winner, overall winner, was one of those who didn't win 2 years ago. So there's always hope, and you should never give up. Have a really, really good summer. All the best. Bye-bye.
Triumph Design Awards will be in full swing starting March 2022. What's your preference? A virtual event like today or an in-person event like previous?